I'm sure that there's many of you that wonder, well, what does a vision quest have to do with a simple little diet? What does a vision quest have in common with the pro-terrain pH balancing diet that Conscious Planet promotes? Well, actually everything. I mean, whoever thought that the simple little pH balancing diet would evolve into a lifetime vision quest? But that's exactly what happened to Charles and I when we made the decision that we wanted to raise the level of our health and take responsibility for the direction of our lives. That was about 12 years ago when we were just launching Living Harvest, the first hemp products that were going into retail stores. We traveled far and wide through Canada and the United States, spreading the good word about hemp because of the astounding nutritional profile that's packed into this tiny little seed. We found ourselves in the office of a doctor. He's an orthomolecular nutritionist in Petaluma, California. And we wanted to find out what level of health we were actually at. And so he tested us on an electroacupuncture equipment. And I was shocked to see the degeneration of my organ functions and my body systems because I thought I was pretty healthy. We'd been eating hemp for a few years, but the screen didn't lie. So, and thinking I was pretty healthy according to mainstream medical standards. But there it was on the screen, and I was too acidic. My body pH was too acidic. I was 25 pounds overweight, and I was tested with a toxic overload of negative microorganisms / parasites that were living and munching away in my body and actually eating my body fluids, a lot in my spinal fluids, and really they start munching away on your organs. And my liver was especially challenged. We both took the challenge that Dr. Reese offered us right away, and we went on his 3-month antimicrobial eating program. And we applied ourselves, and it seemed to be fairly simple because absolutely no sugar. That meant fruit. We weren't to have any dairy and no gluten grains. And just really basically greens and more greens and more greens. And I like greens, and I thought that I could pretty much do that. It was one of the most disciplined and most liberating program that I'd ever been on. So we applied ourselves strictly for the 3 months. It started to touch every aspect of our life, and we went through physical, emotional, and even spiritual detoxification. I could feel after about 2 or 3 weeks, my energy levels start to increase, even though I was in the fog of detoxification. And I could also feel the panic and fear of the microorganisms dying off. Through the anxiety, I honestly have to say, we felt elated because I knew this was going to transform my life. And so I persevered. I started to feel my body kickstart as it metamorphosized through recovery and then restoration and eventually regeneration. And I could feel it on several levels of my being. It also initiated several lifestyle changes for us and lifestyle practices that were really foreign to me. I knew that I was never going to go back. And in fact, my body wisdom really liked this, and so it would not let me digress. I didn't digress. So the upshot of the story is that Charles and I got so excited about this program that we had excelled at for 3 months that we wanted to share it with everyone. We had been in a few retreats, world-class retreats, where we learned the raw food diet and also the antimicrobial eating program. And we wanted to share that, but those places are expensive to hang out. And so we asked ourselves, how can we share this with everyone and make it accessible and affordable? So we rushed home and we created a do-it-yourself wellness program. And that's really when Conscious Planet was born. Formally, we called it the Antimicrobial Program, but really, we've changed that to call it the Pro-Terrain pH Balancing Diet, because it's all about changing the terrain and alkalizing and bringing your pH up. You know, we know in our hearts that eventually everyone is going to have to pass this way and embark on a program like this to regain the health that we've all stressed away on several aspects of our being, and especially probably around food and money. So we know that the Pro-Terrain pH Balancing Diet will wake up your original blueprint to a whole new level of living and being, becoming your living vision quest, because that's what you do, you become a walking testament, to thrive consciously and happily. And that's why we call it a vision quest. So it has everything to do with a diet. I just want to look at this. We'll be going over this on Saturday, and I have a sign-up list at the back of the room if you plan to attend. Put your name and your email so that we can keep in touch with you. And on Saturday, we'll get into how to get started. We'll go over product knowledge and the usage of products, and we'll lay out a whole program and coach you along. So this is called the pH Balancing Pro-Terrain Eating Program. And actually, the Vision Quest is column 1, sticking to column 1 for, we say give it 3 months, and because eventually it just becomes a given and you start using those foods all year round. Look at the columns and see what column that you are right now, considering what your eating habits are. And then just start imagining, start making your way across the columns until you are ready to get into the Vision Quest. And if you're in column 5, if you're using foods in column 5, just start dropping some of those foods and incorporate maybe enzymes and probiotics to start with. And if you fall off, don't consider it like you failed. You've actually had successes. If you're successful with the Vision Quest for a couple of weeks, that's great. That's great. And that's a little success. So you just draw a line in the sand and you keep getting back on. And that's what Charles and I did. So I look forward to seeing as many of you, and our team, Kathy and Paul and Charles and I, we're anxious to hold your hand and help you along.